Good afternoon. This is Sam Green with Zamma. I wanted to show you today in this video one of our luxury vinyl moldings, a carpet reducer. This product is for an up-and-coming category of flooring called luxury vinyl, tile and plank. And by virtue of the way this product is made, with plastic and other composites, it makes it extremely durable. They're starting to put different components in the core to make it more rigid, more stiff, and more impact resistant. But the simple fact is this product is waterproof, which we've seen of late. People are starting to really appreciate that fact. It's a good looking product, embossed and register. The technology that goes into the visuals on this is fantastic. But in finishing the floor, we want to have a product in the molding that's going to be waterproof as well and just as durable. So what we've got is a PVC molding. This is the carpet reducer. It's a flat nose to accommodate tucking the carpet next to it. Basically, how this product is made is, I guess the easiest comparison is if you've ever seen one of the little Play-Doh factories. We get the PVC, which is just a form of fairly rigid plastic in the form of beads or powder. We heat it up to a certain consistency and then push it through a mold. And we can make different shapes, T's, reducers, the stair nose, and including this carpet reducer. So it's a good, solid product, durable, and it's waterproof in and of itself. At Zamma, we take the matching process. We're stepping it up a notch by going to the flooring manufacturer and sourcing the decor films. This just is a random piece that I happen to have to show you. Basically, the decorative portion comes from the flooring manufacturer. It is exactly the same thing that goes on the floor. We take and we process it using a commercial overlay, which is the wear layer, and we thermally fuse the two together. And you get a product that's as durable and sometimes even more durable than the floor itself. But we have these components available, whichever shape we need, and we're able to bond this exact match film to whatever shape we need, whether it be the carpet reducer, the regular reducer, the multi-purpose reducer, T, stair nose, whatnot, and you've got a very, very durable and very tight match product. So basically, we've got our floor installed. The next room in my little mock-up here has the carpet, as you can see. We want to take our product. The molding is going to come in a blister pack like this, 6 feet long. What's included will be the piece of molding. Let me show it to you out of the package. You'll get the molding, you'll get a cold rolled steel track, and you'll get anchors and screws to attach it to the subfloor. One of the nice things about the steel track, and that is a patented product from Zamma, is that we've scored it every 4 inches. It's called a snap track. And hopefully you can see that. But what that allows us to do is it facilitates breaking this off without any tools. Nice and clean break. I'm ready to go. I don't have to worry about running it through the saw or snips or anything like that. And with the 4-inch increments, it will basically fit every doorway in your house. Most of your doorways will be 32 inches or so. And that works out perfect. If you do wind up with a different size, there's a variety of sizes depending whether it's a bathroom, a bedroom, whatnot. Usually the most you'll get will be 2 inches wider than your track, snapping it at these 4-inch increments, that's fine. You can drop that in, center it, leave a 1-inch space on either side, and that's perfectly acceptable. So once we've got our track set up, I like to come in, and usually you'll have enough, that 6-foot piece is enough for 2 doorways. And again, at 32 inches, if that's your 2 doorways, you'll have enough that I can come in and snap or cut off just maybe a 3/4 inch piece. And basically what that's for is I use it as spacers. I'll snap it in each end of the track, like so. Make sure they're both facing the same way. And what that does for me is it allows me to double check all my spacing. So when I drop it in, I can see that it will cover. I know where I can put my carpet, even to the point before I have the floor completely installed. A lot of times we can put this in with the spacers, and I know exactly what size to cut this last plank that goes under the door casings. If you've got a true door casing as opposed to this opening, a lot of times they'll be twisted. They won't exactly be true to the room, and it can be a little tricky, little interesting trying to cut the molding in that last plank. But having this in, I don't have to worry about measurements. I can just see what the product, and it will dictate where I cut, and I know exactly where to cut. So basically what I want to do is install this. I'm going to take my drill. Once I've got my drill, I'll take a couple of screws out of my my package. I know exactly where this is going to go. Once you get it started, I want to make sure they're tight, but I don't want to over tighten them. What happens if I do, and it's not so hard to do, especially on wood, where you pull that screw in and it will collapse the track. It actually pulls it down and it'll squeeze it shut and make it difficult to put your molding in unless you remember and go back and open that up where you've collapsed the track. So at this point, I want to take these out, which is always a challenge because they are in there so tight. All right, so there's that. I have cut my piece of trim. I would suggest a lot of times you just throw it up on the on your chop saw. Be careful with this PVC. You need to go slow or use a fine tooth blade because it will catch and break the molding if you're not careful with it. So basically, I'm going to start on one side. I want to get that piece in. Lock it down. Safest thing to do is use a rubber mallet. You'll find that a lot of hammers have a rubber handle hammer. I just don't want to damage. As durable as the product is, why take any chances? But basically, you're going to work from one side to the other and lock it into place. Once this goes into that cold rolled steel track, it is there. It is a permanent installation. It is not designed to come back out. So now what we want to do is we're going to put in our tack strip right next to, which I've already cut. If you're not familiar with this, the tack strip, the teeth are angled so that when the carpet stretches up, it's going to secure on these pins. So I want to leave a little space between my tack strip and my molding. so I can tuck the carpet. Get that in place. I'm either going to use my power stretcher, or you can use a knee kicker. And basically what you're doing is you're kicking this up using what's called a stair tool. I'm going to tuck it in to the walls. And then finish cutting this off. And basically what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've got enough carpet to cover the tack strip, but not so much that it's going to bulge out. So basically I'm going to take and cut this pretty tight. And I do this just piecemeal so I can kind of see where I'm at. And I'm going to tuck it in. And you can see that it makes for a nice, clean transition that's not going anywhere. Should be able to see that. And I'll just finish it to the wall. Under no circumstances, this is a fairly new molding for us. And I know the installers that have been tucking to our traditional multi-purpose will be very excited to see this. But under no circumstances do you put the T-molding or the reducer over the carpet. If you're using that product, those products, you have to have a solid surface on both sides. So please do not do that. I will also encourage you, please use the track. You avoid the warranties if you glue it down. Unfortunately, that will work a good part of the time, but it will also fail a good part of the time. So please don't do that. You've got a good quality product here. Again, this was just an arbitrary color. If I were using this, I would be getting a molding that exactly matched the floor. And again, you've got the performance properties that the floor is going to have. I will even go so far as to pre-cut this piece before I have the floor installed, because part of the beauty of these new floors is that you're going to get a lot of coloration, a lot of variation that adds to the realism. Well, from one plank to the next, it may change significantly, and I want to be able to put this in place and then pick and choose what plank goes next to it. That way I can blend it to my molding. I make the floor match the molding, not trying to make the molding match the floor. I've got a lot more opportunity with the variety of planks that I've got than I do with the couple of pieces of molding that I've got. So I hope that helps. That is probably the easiest way. Something else you can do, if you want to go one step further, is you can use a Z-bar, which basically this goes underneath your tack strip. Let me see if I can find a tack strip. Here we go. Your tack strip will go down, same orientation, but you'll have this piece of metal here. I can cut the carpet a little longer, tuck it under this piece of metal, and bend that piece of metal down to help secure it. What I would probably do with something like this, again, when you stretch it up, it's going to get on those pins. I can kind of bend the pins over, but I can also take my tacker and shoot some staples, some narrow crown staples into here to make sure that it doesn't pull out. But it's in there pretty good. So I hope that helps. I know the installers that have been working with it will be excited to see the carpet reducer. And one more in the list of the vinyl moldings. Thank you very much.